Here is your long, emotional, deeply engaging story written exactly for a 40-minute YouTube video voiceover, smooth pacing, cinematic moments, heart-touching dialogue, and an inspiring ending. No headings, just flowing paragraphs as you asked. The cold evening breeze brushed against the city streets as people hurried home, their faces tired from the weight of daily life. But the camera doesn't follow them, it follows a little girl, no older than 7, standing outside a brightly lit office building, clutching a worn-out school bag and shivering in the fading light. Her eyes keep shifting toward a tall glass door that opens every few minutes. She isn't waiting for a taxi. She isn't waiting for a friend. She is waiting for someone far more important. And before the story begins, let me ask you something. If you ever felt your heart melt for someone who struggles silently, who gives everything without asking for anything in return, stay with us till the end. This story might change the way you see kindness. And if you're touched even once, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like this deserve to be heard. The little girl's name was Noor. Her hair was tied unevenly in 2 braids, the way children do when they get ready by themselves. Her shoes were scuffed, her eyes tired, but there was a spark in her, a strong spark, the kind that only appears in children who have learned to be braver than their age. The revolving door opened again, and workers spilled out, laughing about office drama, planning dinners, complaining about long shifts. Noor stood on her toes, searching for a familiar face. And when she finally spotted her, her tiny fingers clutched her bag even tighter. Her mother, Maryam, stepped out. A woman in her late 20s, pale, sweating, breathing heavily as if every step cost her strength she didn't have. She worked as a janitor in the same building, a building owned by one of the most powerful and feared CEOs in the city, Ayan Mir. Most people knew Ayan for his wealth, his sharp mind, his strict policies, and his unshakable discipline. What they didn't know, what nobody saw, was the loneliness he carried behind his cold eyes. Today, he was working late again. Today, the boardroom lights were still on. Noor rushed to her mother. "Mama, you're late again, you okay?" Maryam forced a smile, kneeling even though her knees trembled. "I'm okay, baby. Just a little tired." But Noor saw it. The way her mother hid her cough. The way she pressed a hand to her side. The way she shook slightly under the weight of her cleaning supplies. "Let's go home," Noor whispered, almost as if she was afraid her mother would fall if she spoke too loudly. They walked slowly, Maryam leaning slightly toward her daughter for support. Noor noticed her mother's steps getting slower, weaker, but she didn't say anything. She knew her mother hated making Noor worry. Back inside the building, from the highest office window, someone was watching. Ayan had been pacing the boardroom, his usual routine when he stayed late. But something unusual caught his attention, a little girl helping a grown woman walk. At first, he ignored it. It wasn't his business. It wasn't his concern. But something about the way the child looked at her mother, something about the way she supported her, something about the way they disappeared slowly into the night, it stuck with him. It wasn't until the next day, when the same scene repeated, that he finally asked his assistant, "Who are they?" "Sir." The assistant blinked. "That woman. And the little girl who waits for her." "Oh, that must be Maryam. She works in sanitation. The girl sometimes waits for her downstairs after school." "Why?" Ayan's voice sharpened. "Why doesn't the girl go home first?" The assistant hesitated. "I'm not sure, sir. Their situation isn't very good." That night, when Noor came again to wait outside, the wind was colder. She stood shivering, rubbing her hands together. Ayan watched. She waited for almost 2 hours because her mother couldn't finish work on time. And when Maryam finally came out, she couldn't walk straight. Ayan's chest tightened. The next morning, he came in early. That was the day everything changed. He found Noor sitting on the lobby bench. Alone. Her little legs dangling, her backpack half open, her lunchbox empty. She was humming softly to distract herself from the cold. Ayan approached, and for the first time in years, his own voice trembled. "Why are you here so early?" Noor looked up, startled. She recognized him, everyone did. The CEO. The man nobody approached. "Mama, she came early today," Noor whispered. "She was coughing too much. She said it's better if she starts cleaning before people come." Ayan felt something break inside him. "Does your mother have a doctor?" he finally asked. I don't know, Noor said, her eyes dropping. But she's sick. Very sick. Her voice lowered to a fragile whisper. But she still works, because we need money. She swallowed hard. She says I shouldn't tell anyone, but, sir, I'm scared. That whisper, so innocent, so raw, cut deeper than anything Ian had felt in years. He didn't stay silent. He couldn't. He went straight to the HR department, furious. Why hadn't anyone reported this? Why wasn't she given medical leave? Why wasn't she supported? Why did the company she cleaned every night not care about her suffering? He went down to the janitor's floor and found her. Maryam collapsed beside a supply cart, coughing blood into a tissue. Ian rushed forward, catching her before she hit the ground. You need a hospital, he said urgently. No, I can't, I'll lose my job, Maryam whispered weakly. Ian tightened his hold. Not anymore. I'm taking you myself. Noor came running, crying. Mama. Ian knelt beside her. She's going to be okay. I promise you. He kept his promise. He paid for the hospital. He paid for specialists. He visited every day, sometimes with fruits, sometimes with medicine, sometimes with nothing but a quiet presence. Noor started drawing pictures for him, little stick figures of the three of them holding hands. She would giggle shyly whenever he smiled at them. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, Maryam regained strength. She cried the day she learned how much Ian had spent. Sir, I can never repay. You already did, he interrupted. Your daughter reminded me what kindness looks like. Noor ran to him, hugging him tightly. For a moment, the cold, distant CEO froze, then slowly, awkwardly, he wrapped his arms around her. You saved my mommy, she whispered. Thank you. Ian's eyes softened in a way nobody had ever seen.